Good evening and welcome. We are very glad to have you here. We can see so many of you logging on live, and we're excited to tell you all about our programs. My name is Julianne Hofer, and I have the distinct privilege of being the Assistant Superintendent here in Ocean View School District, and we will be getting started here in just a couple of minutes. Good evening. My name is Julianne Hofer, and we will get started just in another minute or two. We're super excited you're here. Thank you for joining us. Good evening. We are so glad you are here. I did want to remind you that we do have Spanish and hopefully Vietnamese interpretation available during the meeting. If you select the icon that's at the bottom of your screen, we are still working on our Vietnamese interpretation room, and we hope to have it resolved shortly. Please note, this meeting will be recorded and posted on our website. So we just wanted to make sure that you were informed and aware of that. And we will get started here in 1 minute. Well, good evening. I think we will go ahead and get started. Welcome to our Ocean View School District Middle School Information Night. We are super excited tonight to tell you all about our awesome programs that we have. And before we get started, I'd like to give our Superintendent, Dr. Hansen, and our board members that are here tonight just a chance to speak. Dr. Hansen.
Well, hello everyone and welcome. We're so thrilled that you're all come out tonight to hear about our wonderful middle school programs in the Ocean View School District. We know that this is an incredible transition time. You know, in your school journey with your child, remember those days when you transitioned to school and going to kindergarten? Well, now is the next big transition, which is to middle school. And we pride ourselves in having a very welcoming and family feel to our schools in Ocean View, because our motto is where achievement and relationships matter. And we know that you're going to have a very smooth transition and an exciting experience in middle school. Here tonight to help us welcome all of you are two of our distinguished board members. First, I'd like to introduce our clerk, Mrs. Gina Clayton-Tarvin, and I think she just wants to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Hansen. I'm so glad to be here this evening with all of you and all of you parents in the Ocean View School District. I know so many of you, and I'm so glad that you've stuck with us through this trying time of the pandemic, and you're looking forward to having your children in middle school with us. Besides being on the Board of Trustees, I'm a parent of an Ocean View student currently in 3rd grade and of a former Ocean View student who's currently in 10th grade and who went to our wonderful Mesa View Middle School. I'm speaking on behalf tonight of on behalf of our board president, and also we have a special guest, our board vice president, but our board president is also a parent of a middle school student, but at Vista View. So we're just like you, we're parents of the school district, and we're just really happy that you're sticking with us and going to hear the information tonight. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my colleague, another teacher, Mr. Jack Souders. Trustee Souders and I are both middle school teachers, actually. And so Vice President Souders, are you ready to take it away?
I am. Thank you so much. And I want to thank everyone for showing up tonight. Yeah, we've got great programs at our middle schools. All three of my kids went through our middle schools. Really, I'm happy that you're here because this is about learning the information about the middle school that you're going to choose for your child and about how it's going to prepare your child for their high school experience. And our middle schools do a phenomenal job of that, as I can attest from having all three of my kids go on to local schools from here, and they were very well prepared for what they encountered. And it is going to be an exciting year coming off the tail end of COVID and getting into the new year. So I'm glad you're here, and I want to thank you all for showing up to this really important night. Thank you.
Well, thank you, both Dr. Hansen, clerk Clayton Tarvin. Boy, you put those two together and you make your own special words. And Vice President Souders. Tonight, you will have the chance to hear from our very own middle school principals. They're going to tell you a little bit about all of our middle schools. We'll talk about our values that drive the programs that we offer here in Ocean View. We'll talk about the core program. I know some of you are probably wondering, we kind of gear this towards 6th grade. And what does this mean for my 6th grader, particularly if this is your first child to go into middle school? So we're going to tell you all about the 6th grade program, as well as a little bit about the 7th and the 8th grade programs. We're going to help you understand the process and the timelines so that if you live within the district and would like your child to go to a different school than the neighborhood school, we'll explain what that takes. If you're outside the district, welcome. We do accept inter-district transfers, and we'll talk all about those, that process and timeline. And afterwards, if you still have questions, we're here to help. And then we'll talk about some communications and supports. If you're an existing Ocean View family, you probably already know how important Aries Communication is. And then there will be an opportunity for the question and answer session. So you'll notice at the bottom of your screen, it says Q&A. If you have questions, be sure to put them in there because we will have our panelists answer your questions at the very end. So without any further ado, I believe Mrs. Shively, the principal at Marine View, is going to tell us a little bit about our Ocean View Middle Schools.
All right, good evening. I am Sarah Shively, and I am the principal at Marine View Middle School. Thank you so much for being here. It is such an exciting night because we definitely get to highlight our middle schools and kind of help hopefully ease any stress you might have about transitioning to middle school. So Marine View, we kind of have some really exciting things going on. We are the school that specializes in the visual and performing arts. And with that, we are currently under modernization. So next year, we are going to be returning to a completely new modernized site that is really going to be able to allow us to grow, continue to grow our performing arts program. So up in the corner, you'll be able to see kind of what the school is going to look like. So excited to be returning to our modernized school. Next up is
It is Jaden Grunbaum, principal over at Mesa View. And this is my 2nd year as principal of Mesa View, 3rd year here in Ocean View. And can I just say, it is a fantastic district. I come with the history from high school, and we definitely prepare our students for life beyond middle school here in Ocean View. We are the Gate Magnet School, one of the middle school Gate Magnet schools. And something that comes with that is that our students are absolutely exposed to our GATE strategies regardless of what class. So we have a little smattering of some of our programs that we'll talk a little bit more about to come. And we're so excited that you're here to learn more about all of our amazing middle schools. Next up.
Let me try that again. Hello there, Ocean View School District families. My name is Randy Lempert, and I am the proud principal of Springview Middle School. I am finishing up my 2nd year as the principal here at Springview. I was previously at Mesa View for a few years, and it's exciting for this evening for us to share with you our passions for middle school and for our individual school sites. Springview, we are the Spartans and we are leaders. We really take a lot of pride in developing our students social emotional growth, and their overall experience as a middle schooler. So look forward to sharing more with you tonight. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us in the question area, and we'll go ahead and try to answer them in live time. So I am now handing it off to my colleague over at VistaView.
Good evening. I'm Rashida Gates, the principal at VistaView, and I'm hoping that your fifth graders that will be sixth graders next year can complete a first full year of me being principal without having a pandemic or anything inserted. So I'm so excited to welcome the Falcons, future Falcons, to our site. And all of what we do surrounds creating culture and community at Vista. It's important to note that this is our last year on this campus. And one of the images you see there that says STEAM shows a mural of what one of our hallways will look like on our newly modernized site. So we will be going where Marine View will be vacating. Your children's first year will be at our interim site, and then their seventh grade year will be at our newly modernized site. So some of the images you see here showcase opportunities for students to feel connected and comfortable at school. So we have gardening on campus, and students research what they want to grow. They tend the garden, harvest the crops, and then they also get to eat what they grew. We also, during nutrition, you see a picture of girls there. We cultivate culture and community. Last year, we did it a lot through minute to win it games, but this year we oftentimes will play music during nutrition to just kind of bond the students together. And VistaView is a diverse population. You'll see a picture of Lunar New Year there, and we celebrate all students and their backgrounds and create moments of inclusion and learning for each of us. In terms of technology, our innovative program is STEAM, and there are many opportunities for students to advance their technological skills, even to the point of by the time they're in 8th grade, they create our yearbook and do a fabulous job with the tools that they learned through a 6th grade elective. Finally, we are a project-based learning school. And so students have the opportunity to solve real-world problems and learn key concepts to demonstrate their learning. One of the things that I love about this is that they get to show what they learn in various outcomes. Like it could be through a poem or through a skit or through a presentation or a storyboard. And our teachers do an excellent job of varying the methods in which students can demonstrate their learning. And at this time, I'll hand it off to our virtual academy principal.
Good evening, I'm Isis Ortiz and I'm the Virtual Academy Principal. It's been exciting this year to start this adventure and start this new school of Virtual Academy. We've been doing a lot of building the building blocks of trying to meld 4 schools together. So some of the things that we've been doing and some of our highlights of this year are we're continuing our virtual spirit days weekly for each week. Within those spirit days, each grade level has a Google Classroom where they get to upload digital photos of their spirit, showing their spirit for school. And we also have our leadership team that has been making Friday trivia games for kids. They have the questions, the kids get to watch the Padlets and put in their answers, and then we get those for points. We've just started clubs to help with the social aspects of not being in person. We have lots of clubs every day for the week, and it's been very beneficial for the kids for them to be able to reach out and be able to talk to each other and get that personal aspect of socialization. Our teachers have office hours every day, so they're able to connect, to ask questions, to answer questions of students and parents. So there's office hours every day, so you have that one-on-one interaction with the teacher above and beyond the Zoom time that you're already doing with your in-class time. And then we're also celebrating our students by showing student character awards every month. We do a short video to highlight those students that follow that character trait.
Next, we are going to explore meaningful middle school values. So what exactly does that mean? We're going to talk about the caring environments we provide, the rigorous, relevant academic programs, and the engaging electives and extracurriculars. So positive behavioral intervention and support. So research confirms that students need at least 5 positive experiences to cancel out just 1 negative moment. So each of our schools are going to share what we do to highlight our PBIS. At Marine View, we demonstrate PRIDE, which stands for Preparation, Responsibility, Integrity, Determination, and Excellence. So each month, we nominate students for Mariner of the Month to celebrate students that are demonstrating pride. We also have activities such as our Super Citizen, again, that celebrates our students for demonstrating pride.
And at Mesa View, we have our 3 R's, which stand for being respectful, being responsible, and being reflective. And we have multiple teacher-driven incentives in the classroom, but we also do an Eagle of the Week and weekly Eagle monthly Eagle All-Star Awards for students who are just being awesome Eagles. And so this is really dependent on these 3 R's, whether if they're being respectful, extra responsible, or just reflective citizens here at Mesa View.
And at Springview, we are leaders, and we really focus on our lead expectations. That's where we learn together, we empower others, we achieve our goals, and we discover our potential. Twice a month, we do lead lessons in our homeroom class, and we really focus on developing positive characteristics in the middle school child. We also love to focus and reward their positive behaviors. We as well have a focus student of the month, and also we give our positive referrals, which are our lead cards.
Okay, at Vista, we are the Falcons that soar. We put safety first. We're on time, on task, organized, have academic achievement, and we're respectful and responsible Falcons. And we utilize every opportunity to celebrate our students. This is one of our favorite things to do collectively as a staff, and we create systems through the PBIS framework to honor students not only for academics, but for the areas in which they individually shine. PBIS is evidenced through many aspects on our campus, but I would like to specifically talk about 2. The first is the PBIS launch, and the second is award assemblies. So I always like to connect teaching students behaviors of what we want to see to like how we teach math and how we teach English. So at the beginning of the year, when we launch PBIS, students learn how we expect them to behave on all areas of the campus, like in the walkways, at nutrition, in the restrooms. And by breaking down these behaviors, we find that they just really shine and know what is expected of them on all areas of the campus. Then we also have assemblies, monthly assemblies that honor our students. And these assemblies the students are honored by their teachers. And yes, although we have moments to honor them academically and all of our high achieving students, we take each one of the components of the SOAR acronym, and the teachers nominate and write a specific award for the students based on that. For example, for safety first, a teacher might write that a student always pushes in their chair before leaving, they hold the door for others, and that they always create space and are aware of others around them. We invite parents, this is pre-pandemic, to these assemblies, and the students are surprised and honored in front of their peers.
At the Virtual Academy, our acronym is also SOAR, where we practice safety first. We are outstanding citizenship. We strive for good achievement, and we are responsible. In Virtual Academy, we celebrate our students by monthly awards assemblies that we do virtually online, and teachers get to choose students to be participants in our monthly principal parties that we have, where students will come together and we will do activities of such as playing bingo together, or just sitting around and talking to each other and being social and finding out more about each other. So that's what we're doing at Virtual Academy to help ensure our PBIS program.
All right, so another thing that we do to focus on the caring environments is we specialize in our social emotional lessons and learning. And one of the things that our district has done is created a wellness room, and it's available for all of our students. And we encourage and we incorporate these lessons into our daily teaching, and we encourage all families to go and check it out. There's a lot of amazing mindfulness activities, some yoga, and it's all age appropriate. So very important for our kids to check out.
All right. We're going to touch base now about what that middle school program looks like for your child. So this is the part where we want you to start visualizing your child and with day-to-day of what it's like to be in a middle schooler. And I know right now you're looking at your 5th grade child and you're looking at you look at an 8th grader and you're like, wow, what a gap. Like that is like the difference of growth is amazing. But really, just let's focus on 1 year at a time. Your child will get there, I assure you. But we're going to go focus on 1 day and 1 year at a time. The day of the life of a middle schooler, you can see our respective start times and end times. I'm presenting to you the pre-COVID experience. Our class periods are 53 minutes of instructional time. We have a 3 minutes passing period, and then we have a nutrition. Yes, it's not called recess anymore. In middle school, you're too cool for nutrition, or you're too cool for recess. Now we call it nutrition. But really, moms and dads, it's recess. Students have the content area. They have language arts, history, mathematics, science, PE, and an elective. So there's 6 core classes that your student would take in a day. The actual day, actually, let me show you a little video right now. Instead of me just talking at you, let's take a look at what this actually looks like in the life of a middle schooler. Thank you very much for that watching. We didn't have sound in the beginning, but figured it out. And so here's what the day would look like for a 6th grade student. Now we know in elementary, you're coming from having that experience with that one teacher, and most of your communication is with one teacher. So in the 6th grade, we break that up, and your children are going to have more than one teacher. But we kind of start in a smaller scale for 6th grade students. We start where we core our students together. So as you can see, your child would have one teacher for English language arts. Your child would have one teacher for math and science, a teacher for PE, and a teacher for their elective. So this does help with the organization, where they will be with more. It reduces the numbers of transitions students have throughout the day, and the number of teachers that you need to manage and wrap your heads around throughout the year. As we transition into 7th and 8th grade, your students most likely have more of like that traditional high school model, where they would have one teacher per content level. So we kind of step up the rigor by having to navigate through 6 different teachers, and we want them to use consistent organization skills throughout. So the big difference, you guys went from one teacher, we transitioned to having 4 teachers at the most, then moving into having 6 teachers. And next up, we're gonna have Dr. Gates speak about the electives.
Thank you so much, Randy. During this portion of the presentation, I will discuss electives and extracurricular activities as they traditionally occur in our district. So the electives that are presented will showcase offerings for 6th through 8th graders, but I will be sure to gear my conversation specifically towards those 6th grade course offerings. The core electives are the classes that are offered at most or all of our middle schools. These core electives are primarily for 7th and 8th graders that you see here. However, we do have intervention, band, and course for our 6th graders, and those can be year-long classes. The next 2 slides are going to be videos. This one is showcasing the Spartans at Springview, and the next one after that will showcase a little bit of the elective offerings from each middle school.
Now's the time for trading cards for the finest clothes. That's for ladies, so go down to school for my ladies. So
Okay. This is a specific breakdown of electives by school, and it's important to note a few things here. First, our elective choices may slightly differ from year to year. There may be some variance between what you see here and what we have for course selections next year, just slightly. But I want to speak specifically about sixth grade electives. Band, course, those are the year-long ones. And there's also a year-long dance PE for sixth graders. However, the majority of your children will be on an exploratory will. And that means that they take one class first semester and then another class the second semester. And that's just a way to give them an opportunity to learn and truly, as the name says, explore various things that they may be interested in, like art or technology, various things. Thank you. And finally, I would like to discuss the expanded learning opportunities in Ocean View Middle Schools. These activities reflect a traditional school year without any constraints that we've had on our current school landscape. And we offer cross-country, volleyball, basketball, and track. Students compete against each middle school in the district. Additionally, schools offer intramurals during lunch and enrichment classes after school. There is also intervention in the form of homework clubs where students are with credentialed teachers. It can oftentimes be their own teacher or one in their grade level that they're familiar with, and they help them after school with anything they may need. And now I would like to introduce our Co-Director of Student Services, Mrs. Barb Davis, will speak about the transfer process in Ocean View.
Thank you. There are two different types of transfers within Ocean View School District. The first is an intra-district transfer. The intra-district transfer is for students who are living in the Ocean View School District boundaries and are requesting to attend a different middle school in Ocean View. The first step is to determine what is your school of residence, and you could do that by going to our website, OVSD.org, selecting the Families tab, and going to Locate My School. When you get there, you'll see a school locator where you put in your address, and it will tell you your school of residence. Once you find out your school of residence, if there is a different school that you would like to request for your student, you would fill out an intra-district transfer by going to your parent portal. Intra-district transfers are submitted and processed before April 30th. And then sometime later in the spring, you'll receive an email letting you know the status of your transfer. The other transfer that you can submit is an inter-district transfer. Every year, Ocean View receives many inter-district transfers from people who live outside of Ocean View wishing to attend an Ocean View school. Inter-district transfers begin with your school of residence. You would go to your district office of your district of residence requesting to leave that district. They would process that and either give you the form to bring to us or they'll mail it to our district office. That process began March 1st and then will continue. You'll be notified by email later in the spring also about the status of an inter-district transfer. Okay.
And I wanted to talk a little bit about our virtual academy that will be continuing. We will have an enrollment window, which will open on April the 13th and continue until April the 30th. More information on the exact forms and process will be coming as we move further down the month. And then a lot of you will be asking, so next year, when will we start school? So traditionally, Ocean View School District starts the Wednesday after Labor Day. The exact calendar date will be coming in a future communication from the district.
All right, and it's my pleasure to talk a little bit about some different forms of communication, especially if you are new to Ocean View, but even just for middle school specific, as well as general supports. So one of the programs we do have, and you can go to this, and I saw this question in our chat. And just to touch on that, as you're asking questions in the Q&A, we'll definitely come back to those at the end. But if we can go ahead and answer quickly, we are putting those answers in the chat for you. So be sure to check that out as we go through. And we continue to put a survey in there for you to fill out so that we know who's here. We appreciate you being here and want to be able to say hello and catch up afterwards with any questions you might have. So our FLY program is at Mesa View, and that's facilitating leadership in youth, our after-school daycare and support program for students. And we have put the childcare link in the chat as well, where it says click here to learn more. It is held at Mesa View this year and for coming years, and it's just a wonderful environment, not only for students to be provided daycare, but also receive tutoring. They have clubs, they have activities, and it's just a wonderful experience for all of the students that are part of that program. And then we have various ways to get communication through Aries Communication. And this is important to, even if you are a current Ocean View family, just a good reminder. So we have our parent portal, which is where you would go to update any of your contact information, which is very important because when we send communications, we usually send them through multiple forms. So depending on what you have selected, it gets to you and you get all the pertinent information. You can choose text messaging, but you would need to have a listed cell phone number in the parent portal. And then in the communications, which is a tab on the left side, or in the portal, it's just a tab for you. That's where you would actually go directly to any communication sent out. The notifications allows you to set your preferences. So this is where if you don't want text messages, you would unselect that. But if you do, if that's helpful, what we do typically is when we send a text, there's actually a clickable link right to the email or message that we've sent out. So for some families, that is much easier. And then the communications feed, even if you have unselected all of those, you still have access to all communications sent through the feed in the actual Aries portal. There's also an Aries app, which students can download for themselves and parents can download for their parent access, and it's very helpful. It has more of a mobile appearance, so sometimes that's a little more user-friendly. And then all of the schools have amazing Instagrams, which just kind of, we try to post as much about what's going on here on campus with videos and pictures and Spirit Day updates. So it is not just for students, and actually, I think now, Instagram's becoming a little less cool for students. So maybe the Instagram's more for parents, but it's a great way to get information and a great way to just see what's going on your student's campus on a day-to-day basis. Coming up soon, we have our district music festival. So normally this would obviously be an in-person event, but all of our VAPA teachers and coordinators on each of our sites, so our visual arts and performing arts program teachers, are working really hard to put together video ensembles and images and pictures and live video of what all of our music students are doing. So at the various school sites, we have a variety of VAPA programs from band, strings, choir, jazz, dance at all of these sites. And so on Wednesday, April 28th at 6 p.m., there's going to be a live Zoom district music festival. We'll also be pushing that out for our kiddos earlier in the morning so that our 5th graders can see all of the amazing programs to be able to choose from as well. And, finally, I just want to re-emphasize that we are just so excited that you're here to begin this partnering with us and supporting your children. At Ocean View, we know that relationships matter. We know that communication is so key, and we want to provide as many opportunities for our students as well as our families to engage with us. So we know that this is such a different year, and this is not how we would normally do a middle school night, but we're so excited that you're here and engaging, and we look forward to answering questions that are being brought up. And I think with that, it's going back to Dr. Hofer.
Well, thank you so much. We are so thrilled that you have spent the last 45 minutes with us to learn a little bit more about our schools. And now we'll start answering some questions that we've seen come through. I know our middle school principals, when they weren't speaking, they were busy answering questions on the back end, but there kind of seemed to be a few themes that thought we would address. Dr. Hansen, would you like to talk a little bit about what you anticipate for next year?
Sure. So we are very hopeful that we will be returning 100% in person in the fall. And I don't say hopeful, we will. We will return 100% in person. It's just a matter of what it will actually look like. If we'll have smaller class sizes or what the social distancing requirements will be. But that is yet to be decided by the state. And once we have that information of how we can reopen for middle school next year, we have every intent to have students at school every day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hansen. So I know there were a few questions around the virtual academy. One of them was around if your child is currently participating in 5th grade, the virtual academy, do you need to do something for the student to go to their school of residence next year, back in person? And the answer to that is no. Parents have to make an active decision to, we're going to call it, for lack of a better term, enroll in the virtual academy next year. We're making the assumption that students want to return to their home school. So if you do nothing, your child will go to the neighborhood school, whatever school of residence, according to where you live, or if it's not where you live, you will need to put in a transfer to go to a different school than that. So you will be returned to your home school. If you wish to stay in the virtual academy, you will have that opportunity to enroll mid-April. If I remember correctly off the top of my head, April 13th to April 30th. I can see Mrs. Ortiz shaking her head yes. And if you want to go to a different middle school, I'm going to now look towards Mrs. Davis, you need to submit an intra-district transfer before, or by, I guess I should say, April 30th. We want students to be, and families to be, to the best of our ability, we honor the requests for where students go. So if you're interested in a school other than your home school, please be sure and complete that paperwork. Mrs. Ortiz, do the students have different teachers in the virtual academy in the same way? I know that Mr. Limpert talked about how a 6th grader has 4 different teachers. What about in the virtual academy? How many teachers does a 6th grader have?
In the virtual academy, we follow the same program. So yes, in 6th grade, a 6th grader would have 4 different teachers and would rotate around those 4. And then in 7th and 8th grade, they have 6 different teachers.
Excellent, thank you. There's a question, Mrs. Grumbaum, about MESA. Are GATE and honors 2 different pathways, or are they one and the same?
And I added a little bit about that in the chat, but it is different. So we have the GATE program, which would mean students are cohorted with GATE courses. And there are still intermixing between GATE and non-GATE classes or students within PE and elective, but with those core 4 academic classes, they would be in GATE classes. But then in addition to that, we also have honors courses. And so they're separate, and we have both of those at Mesa View.
So there was a question around what are the specialty focuses for each school? So Mrs. Shibley, would you start us off? What would you say is the specialty focus, or what is the specialty focus at Marine View?
So Marine View definitely specializes in the visual and performing arts. And so we offer jazz ensemble, which is a separate elective from what the other schools will offer. And we also offer dance PE, and that is a class that takes the place of the PE class. So the kids are able to take dance PE instead. And when we move back to our newly modernized Marine View site, we're going to have a brand new industrial tech room and a brand new art lab, in addition to our science lab. So definitely some, and a brand new dance room. Totally forgot about that. How could I forget that? So just some amazing new spaces to kind of continue to grow and highlight our performing arts program.
Excellent. What about it? Grumbaum, what is your
Sorry about that. Right when you said, what about it? Cut off. So I didn't know which school you said. So at Mesa View, we are the gate magnet. And I know that that serves a specific population, but one of the wonderful things about that is that all of our students are exposed to gate strategies. And so we have many teachers, not only teachers that are specifically teaching gate, but throughout our school that are gate certified and are continuing certification into next year as well. But even there, we have teachers that are teaching in both worlds. So they are able to integrate those strategies throughout. And then we really pride ourselves on our elective wheel offerings to give our students opportunities in various STEM and CTE pathway programs.
Fantastic. What about at Spring? Mr. Lemper.
At Springview, we specialize in making your child awesome. And no, and that is true, but we also take a lot of pride in our leadership, supporting the whole child. We have an excellent choir and band as well. We have some specialized computer classes. And this year this is our first year where we started Avid. And so in Avid, it's advancement via individual determination. And it really does focus on that skill, that college mindset, getting your child ready for career and college readiness, where they explore what it looks like to go beyond middle school and high school and beyond. Also, we have 2 leadership classes as well. And so that's what makes us amazing.
Fantastic. And at Vista, Dr. Gates.
Good evening. So at Vista, our innovative program is STEAM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. And where you will really see this is through the elective course offerings. Our 6th graders there's such a popularly created course that our teacher of the year actually created herself for Google Tech, and the students learn how to navigate the computer and create programs and do different things that are skills that help them throughout the rest of their educational career as they use the computer. We also have art classes. We have robotics. We just brought on speech and debate, which is a pathway I'm really excited about. I am feverishly working to bring esports to the campus next year. It's not there, but I'm just letting you know that's where my brain space is in terms of adding to our programs and just various things like that.
Fantastic. And the Virtual Academy, Mrs. Ortiz.
So this year for Virtual Academy, we've worked, like I had shared, to work on building that community with our kiddos and melding the 4 schools together, which has been a feat and it has been a lot of fun. So what we've been working on is just making sure that our kiddos are, feeling well with their social emotional well-being, making sure we're checking in on those kiddos, making lots of phone calls, lots of home visits, just making sure that those kids are coming to school and checking in. And then we try to, engage our students by having some electives that are engaging for them. We also are trying to use a lot of the technology tools in our classrooms so the students are able to navigate and, work on what it is that they need to and be healthy and good citizens.
Fantastic. Now, there were lots of questions around GATE, and I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware. We have a middle school GATE night coming on April 14th that will explain the GATE options at each of our middle schools, our GATE magnets, including our new GATE magnet coming soon, as well as our GATE clusters, the process. That is on April 14th. And it will be devoted solely to GATE so that you can get those questions answered. Now, Dr. Hansen, there were some modernization questions. And so this year, Marine View has been undergoing their modernization, and they are returning in September. And then basically in September, Vista View is heading to modernization. And
correct. So I can just chime in that yes, Vista View will begin modernization as soon as school is over in June. The Vista View community, meaning the teachers and all of the staff, will move out of Vista View. Well, first of all the Marine View people will move out of the interim site, which is located on the old Sunview site, into the new modernized Marine View campus. And then the Vista View staff and community will move into the interim site. And so when we talk about fall 2022, as Dr. Gates mentioned, if you have a 6th grader, your 7th and 8th grader will have a wonderful new modernized campus for 2 years. And boy, are your 6th graders out there lucky that they get to be the first ones to experience Marine View. So we don't have a finalized path of all the schools that are being modernized. The next school in our district to be modernized after Vista is Starview, but there haven't been any definite decisions made by our board on the path of the next schools to be modernized. So just stay tuned for that. I did see a question about transportation. So there is transportation for students who have to go to the interim site. So there will be transportation for the Vista View students who need to go to the interim site, who need transportation to the interim site. Our board committed to providing transportation during modernization. So if you are a Vista View 6th grader, you'll get more information coming up. So those are the only campuses that are in the midst of modernization or will be modernized. Nevertheless, all of our campuses have up-to-date technology and are safe. And one of the great things about our bond measure is that all of our campuses are fully gated and fenced. So now all of our campuses are fully gated and fenced.
That's right, with a single point of entry.
Correct. So they are very safe, and we pride ourselves in that. And I think those were the questions I saw about modernization.
I think so. I wanted to correct myself. April 14th is elementary. April 15th is middle school gate night. So I mentioned the elementary gate night. Middle school is April 15th. I apologize for that. Thursday, April 15th. More information to come. There were some questions around special education and special day classes. We do have special day classes and special education services at all of our middle school sites. And students do have the opportunity, if determined by the IEP team, that inclusion is appropriate, then students are permitted to mainstream. Would one of the principals like to talk a little bit about that, what that looks like for a special education student who might spend part of their day in special day classes and still have the opportunity to mainstream? Dr. Gates?
I can talk. I know I saw that question there and I began to type an answer and I thought, that's a deep answer. So I'm glad to be able to speak to it. So at Vista View, we have 2 special day classes. We have a moderate to severe and a mild to mod special day class. And in terms of opportunities for mainstreaming, our students in our mild mod classes, and I could definitely say at each of the middle schools, if they are excelling in science, then we mainstream them for science. All of the classes mainstream for PE. Now, according to your child's IEP, they might have adaptive PE, which they would get in addition to PE with the general education students. We also, like in terms of science, if it was the social studies where they excelled, we would mainstream for that, them for that, and for math. I know that we're doing a lot of, I can say probably at most of the middle schools, creating opportunities for students in our special day classes to have electives. Like at Vista View this year, the students take music in a general education setting, and both our mild to mod students and mod to severe students take music. So really creating those opportunities to have them on campus in any way that's going to benefit them.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We really like to give our students as many opportunities as possible to be with their peers and to make friendships and interact. I know there was a question regarding tonight's presentation and the recording. It will be posted on our OVSD website tomorrow, so that you will be able to go back and preview this again. And if you have any questions, we will have the form there so that we can make sure that you have an opportunity to connect with our principals and our staff and get your questions answered. I'm not sure if I'm seeing any more questions. I can see, do 6th graders at Springview have other choices for electives other than choir or band?
Good question. Yes, we also have an elective wheel, which exposes our students to a range of electives. This year, our elective wheel includes a STEM elective, where the students are doing different experiments and they're also participating in coding. We have a computer class as well, where we're really making them experts in all the Google apps that are available. And also that's where we've embedded our Avid elective. So we've got kids researching and doing college projects and looking into their next steps beyond high school.
Fantastic.
Dr. Hofer, did we address the dance PE and the tryouts for dance team? Want to just make sure.
I did not ask any questions about that.
I did put an answer in the chat, but I can just
Go ahead.
answer as well.
Yeah.
So dance PE, yes, is offered at Marine View. Dance PE is open to all students, and it would take the place of their PE class. And I do want to put the disclaimer, space pending. We have all students wanting to do dance PE. We just need to make sure that we have the space to accommodate it. Dance team is something different, and that is a tryout because it is a separate program from dance PE. So dance PE is open for all students to submit their interest form and be available to do dance PE, but dance PE or dance team is something separate that is a tryout. And that is typically for the 7th and 8th graders.
And there was a question about Avid, and that Avid, is it just for first generation college attendee families?
No, we want to make it expose all students to the Avid strategies and the career and college mindset. So it's available, it's for all students.
Great, great. I know that sometimes at the high school, they focus on students that are just first generation attendees of college. Did we talk about the FLY program?
I was just going to call on Ms. Bates Kennedy to give her an opportunity to maybe talk about the hours of the program.
Excellent, thank you. I was typing some answers in there for some people. The FLY program will be located at the Mesa View campus next year. We're very excited to have it. It's a wonderful program. It's very student driven. Many activities, homework assistance, support exploration of individual ideas and activities. It will be before and after school next year. So that is a shift. We're really excited to offer that before and after school programming. So we open at 6:30 in the morning and we close at 6 p.m. in the evening. It'll be that option will be available.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. What type of science do 6th graders learn? Would you like to talk about that?
I could take a stab at it, but 6th graders currently, in the recent past, we switched to the next generation science standards. So it used to be like 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, and that has changed. So there's certain like key standards that they cover in 6th grade, but it could be a piece of what formerly was in 7th grade or in 8th grade. So it's holistic and it just builds upon 6th grade straight into 7th and 8th. But another principal can chime in if I didn't do that answer justice on the fly.
You got it perfect, because it doesn't maybe necessarily align with what we would be familiar with at the high school level, where it's just biology or just earth science. Or it is actually kind of pieces of all of those, so that by high school they have gotten an introduction to those science concepts and are prepared to head strong into A through G requirements.
Right.
And I guess too, that if parents had a child go through middle school 5 or 6 years ago, it's changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have been used to it separated. So now it is more holistic, and we're looking forward to having some new adoption of materials for our middle school students in the near future, which will really enhance our program.
That's right.
We don't have lockers for students for their books, but maybe Mr. Lempert can talk about how we manage those heavy books.
Yes. So what happens is your students will come and they will get a set of books to take home with them. So the set of books will stay at home, and then there's a class, and then there is a classroom set of books. So we don't have to worry about your children going back and forth carrying the book. We've had in the past, previous years, when we were going back and forth into our locker rooms, they have a locker room. They have a locker where they'll just keep their PE uniforms in there, and it's really meant to just lock their personal belongings out.
Fantastic. I know there's a question around, do students have computer in the class?
So in previous years, most of us had Chrome carts and we had in-classroom Chromebooks. This year, I mean, honestly, one of the benefits of the pandemic and resources that have been purchased is currently all of our students, if they needed one, have a district issued Chromebook to use during the school year. And so, we'll look at how we may adjust, but right now we have students able to have their own Chromebook, or we also have a bring your own device. So families who wanted to purchase their own and be able to have their own Chromebook were able to bring their own device as well.
And that's another piece about the textbooks, is a lot of our textbooks are based on, are in the Chromebook or web based. So they're doing a lot of their work through the Chromebook.
Families don't have to worry. You don't have to have your own Chromebook. We'll provide it for you if we need the child to have it.
That's right. Mrs. Scheidle, would you talk a little bit about the enrollment process, registration maybe for classes, and talk about the math options? I know we have advanced math here in Ocean View.
So as far as like choosing electives in the spring, okay. So in the spring, we get a list of the students that are going to be attending all of our schools, and we will reach out to offer you guys your elective, and each school is kind of specialized. So for Marine View, we would give you the option if your child wanted to do beginner band and or dance PE. And I also saw in the chat, does dance PE take the place of the elective? No, it only takes the place of PE. So students can take dance PE and take an elective. So it replaces PE, not the elective. And then students will fill out their forms and select if the site offers a site-specific elective for 6th grade, that's a year-long class, they'll indicate it on there. And then from there, we use that to kind of guide our master schedule and build our classes from there. And then in September, students will get their schedules. And I know there was a question too in regards to honors and how students are placed in honors. And we do use certain data points to look at when we're placing the students, and all 4 middle schools use the same criteria to place the school or to place the students. So we make sure that we are consistent. And in the past, we've looked at the Smarter Balance Assessment. We've looked at different benchmarks. And so we definitely try to look at data that kind of tells a picture of the whole student. We don't look at just one pinpoint data point. We try to look at data that's consistent across the board. So then students are placed from there. And then, yes, we do offer honors in 6th grade. Typically it is honors English and honors math. And for some of the schools, the honors math would then put them on the path to be able to take geometry as an 8th grader. So they would take algebra as a 7th grader and geometry as an 8th grader. Did I catch everything you wanted me to cover?
Well, I think the next question actually does specifically apply to you. With the new art and tech labs at Marine, will 6th graders benefit from them?
Absolutely. Of course.
I like that answer.
Everybody's going to benefit from it. And that is one of the things too, to just kind of go back on the elective wheel. It really provides the opportunity for kids to experience different electives. We all offer such amazing and various and diverse electives. And so being in the elective wheel really gives the kids the opportunity, especially if they continue, because 7th and 8th grade, we offer the elective wheel as well. So you get the opportunity to experience many different electives throughout your middle school experience.
Fantastic. There's a question, will sports be available next year? We really, really hope so. We have some significant constraints on our buses and with regards to how close students can get together, get to one another. And so more recently, as the COVID rates have gone down, youth sports has begun here, I know in Orange County. So we are hoping that next year we can resume sports. Is that correct, Dr. Hansen?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to, figure out how to do that with the transportation. But nevertheless, it is our commitment to make that work for our students, because we know that's an integral part of their program.
Are there any supports for students with IEPs, early walkthroughs? I can see Mr. Limpert's shaking his head yes. Do you want to tell us?
No, I think the message is not just for, parents. We recognize that this is a huge transition for parents and for your kiddos, but we're here to help walk you through that transition. So you're gonna hear from us again. We encourage you to send us an email, give us a call, fill out the Google form that I've keep putting up there, so we have your email address. We'll be reaching out to you, and we can sit down together and have a conversation on the phone. We can do something on Zoom. You can come, we'd love to be able to just get to know you, and we want you to feel comfortable sending your kid to an Ocean View Middle School. So we're here for you, and it's all about the process. Also, another piece of this that we do a big piece about transitioning our kiddos into 6th grade, and we all do some sort of formal welcome to middle school. And a lot of times in August, your kids will have an opportunity to come onto our campus for registration to pick up their books. And many of us have done a fun 6th grade only transition day before the first day of school. And then also what's important to know is that first day of school, we really do spend a lot of time bringing our kids into the middle school life. So for those first 3-4 days, we take a lot of time of showing our kids how to walk out of the classroom, how to go and have lunch, how to go into the restroom, all those different things that I'm sure that we know that they're worried about. We definitely take a lot of, we take a lot of time to teach them it over and over and over again. And so just be paid, we want you to be confident that we've got your kids' best interest at heart. So give us a call, and bottom line, we're here for you.
Thank you. Yes, all middle schools have one-to-one Chromebooks. That is one of the benefits of this pandemic, unfortunately, is it has helped provide additional funding to get those Chromebooks so that every student has one, and we will provide them. Will Mesa View have robotics next year?
Yes. It's a short answer, an emphatic answer. I also wanted to just say too, with the question, because there was a previous question too about just generally supports for students with IEPs, and just Dr. Gates was absolutely right. All of the schools have multiple supports for students, but also part of your child's transition to middle school, if they have an IEP, is a transition meeting. So if you are here in Ocean View, we will be meeting soon, if that hasn't already been scheduled, to talk about any transition needs. And if you're not in Ocean View and you're worried, oh my gosh, that's not going to happen, parroting what just Mr. Limpert just said, email us, reach out to us as the principals, and we will help figure out how we can help your student transition here.
There was a request to repeat about the lockers. So we do not have general lockers on our middle school campuses. Students do carry their backpacks. They have a second set of textbooks which are left home. However, during PE, there is a PE locker for them to secure their belongings while they are out engaged in the physical activities on our field, in our gyms, on our blacktops, where they don't have to worry about their personal items. There's a question around Dr. Hansen. Do you want to talk a little bit about what the upgrades will be at the Vista campus modernization? We can look forward to there.
At Vista, one of the things is all of our modernizations are going through mostly the same kind of transformation inside of the campus. So one of the things at Vista is I think that there's creation of more hallways. Am I correct, Dr. Gates? Because there is there's modular rooms, so there will be more streamlined hallways, kind of like the modernization we did at College View. But everything will have new heating and air conditioning, all new electrical, new lighting, new flooring, new cabinetry, new furniture. And the reconfiguration to have more easier access in and out of classrooms, a new front office structure, a new library structure, correct, Dr. Gates? And the other big addition is a multi-use room that can be used for a kind of environmental, industrial science, or a what we call a makerspace room that could be used for a science lab, or what we're looking at is being able to offer some type of home economics. And I'm probably calling it the wrong thing, Dr. Gates, because I got
Culinary arts pathway.
Culinary arts pathways. There we go. But one of the things that we are working at Vista to do is to add additional GATE programs there, and also add a STEAM focus. So we know that students have a STEAM opportunity at Lakeview, and they also have a VAPA experience at Westmont, and many of those students go to Vista View. So we are going to integrate that STEAM approach along with the GATE offerings and equip some of those rooms to be more specialized. And all, just like at Marine View, we really have updated the science rooms because we know that the science is more involved, more regular at middle school than elementary school. And we don't have specialized science rooms in Ocean View, but we will now. So this is very exciting because the same thing will happen at Vista. So, we're going to have a new front to Vista, and it's very exciting. You can go on our website and you can look at the plans, and you can look at the previous PowerPoints and presentations that we have made to our Board of Trustees. And those are under the board link on our website. And you can, of course, call my office and we'd be happy to help direct you to those, because you can see all the drawings and all the wonderful things that it's going to be. So, and Marine View is underway, and we're even starting to make plans for Starview. So if you got kids out there that are, in the younger grades, we got stuff happening for you.
Now, Mrs. Davis, there's some questions around intra-district transfer requests. I know they'll be notified later on in the spring about the status of those requests. How are they assured? What do they see in Aries when they submit that, complete that information to submit their intra-district transfer? How can they be assured it's been received?
I believe they'll get a confirmation email, and then the confirmation email will come when it is approved, or they'll get an update through the email where they submitted it. We'll keep everybody posted, and if there's any problem, we'll keep you posted along the way too.
Fantastic. So you'll receive a confirmation that it has been, that you've input the intra-district transfer, and then you'll have that second one that will tell you the status of the transfer. And like I said, we work really hard to get the students into where they request, particularly when they meet that deadline of April 30th, because it gives us plenty of time to plan and try to make that happen. Students, there's a question on, do we need to register our child for 6th grade? Students are automatically matriculated in our Aries system according to your home address. So I'm assuming this is the question around if you are one of our Ocean View parents. However, you will have an opportunity to register for the electives for your child. So there is one step that's very similar to what happens in high school. And you actually, I'm going to use the term register for your classes. And that will be done through our schools, through our elementary schools. They will help facilitate. They will make sure that paperwork is returned. And then, of course, our middle school staff go through and make sure they've received them and reach out when they haven't. So thank you so much. And I think, Dr. Hansen, did you want to give us some concluding remarks before we end for the evening?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our Board of Trustees members, Gina Clayton-Tarvin and Jack Souders, and thank you to our wonderful principals and our panelists. And we do believe that achievement and relationships matter. And so in regards to that, if your student has special needs or special interests that will impact their achievement, we want to work with you individually. As far as relationships, we want to forge those with you. So really, we are small. That's a great thing about us. You can email us. Our principals will invite you for a tour. We'll answer your questions personally. Dr. Hofer or I will answer your emails. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions.
Thank you again for joining us tonight for our middle school program. It's a super exciting and a little bit scary as a parent and as a student. And so we look forward to being there with you through this next transition. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.